Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Comicstorian rants and raves about things. Today, we're going to be talking about my Deadpool theory being right. So, if you don't know, I run a podcast channel called Absolutely, where I sit around and chat about everything going on in the world of movies, comic books, and video games with my buddies Sal, Hassan, and Dan. Well, months ago, when they first announced that Deadpool was going to be teaming up with Wolverine, I said to Sal, I think they're going to adapt Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe in their own way, but it's going to be Deadpool Kills the Fox Universe. As we got leaked photos of him being at the 20th Century Fox logo bearing thing and fighting Wolverine, I doubled down and said he's going to be killing all of the the X-Men characters in the Fox universe, and that's going to put him in the MCU. And what did that trailer show? Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. If my Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League theory is true, and then this turns out to be true, I will become the Nostradamus of Marvel properties. So let's run over the trailer real quick. What I'm going to do is what a lot of other people do. I'm going to stand here and just watch the video awkwardly, and then you can watch me watching the video awkwardly, and it's going to make for a great video. Yeah. No, we're not doing that. Why is that popular on the internet? Anyway, the trailer opens up very briefly, showing us that Wade got his happy life. Now, seeing that with his amazing hairdo, that hair is incredible. I love the wig that they decided to put on him. But anyway, it opens up with him seemingly having his proper life. Now, Sal brought up that it seems like Vanessa isn't really giving a lot of attention to Deadpool, but I think Sal might be reading into it, because what I think is going on is that's the perfect world. If you don't know how a Deadpool storyline has gone in the last 15 or so years, Deadpool started off as just being a bad guy. Like, that's literally it. He was just a mercenary. He wasn't even the merc with the mouth. They hadn't really made him a jokey, funny guy at the beginning. He was just Deadpool, the bad guy. The fans loved him enough that he eventually started getting more and more involved in storylines, and eventually they created the extra word bubble in his head, and eventually he was able to break the fourth wall because it was funny and ha ha ha, Deadpool's insane and we all love it. Once that became Deadpool, and that's where the Deadpool character developed into, they started what is known as the sad clown routine. Deadpool will typically go through a wild and crazy adventure in which he gets a daughter, or he gets a wife, or he gets to team up with Wolverine and Captain America. A lot of arcs will happen, sometimes not a lot of arcs, one or two arcs. And it always ends with Deadpool kind of getting what he wants, but almost like a monkey's paw version. Like, his daughter gets to live off happily, but in order for her to be happy, she can't be with Deadpool. So he got what he wanted, but he couldn't be there. Same thing with the wife. His wife was the supposed bride of Dracula. That's a fun story. It's a great one. You can find it on the channel. But again, the resolution to that turns out to be he wants to make the wife happy. She seems to like him, but he still wants to be an Avenger, and he can't have both worlds. He needs to pick one. Sad clown ending again. Well, one of the most notorious sad clown endings happened in Secret Wars. Dan, really quickly cut to the end of this entire trailer and show the Secret Wars comic Easter egg. The Secret Wars comic shows up randomly at the end of this trailer. But one of the best sad clown endings is Secret Wars. You see, the way they handled Secret Wars was Deadpool got everything he wanted. The entire run ended with Deadpool being happy. He was married. He had the daughter. They were all with him. And he was out on, I believe, on a boat at the time. And the joke is the Avengers messed up his perfect ending. You see, what was going on in comic books at this time was the incursions, which is a very mild, small plot point in the Doctor Strange movie. One of my big, problems with the Doctor Strange movie. How do you take that plot point and make it just something we're going to mention? Hey, the incursions. Entire universes are dying. We'll get to that later, fanboys. That's kind of how I felt Doctor Strange treated it. But what the incursions was the Beyonders or the Watchers. It's one of those overseeing groups smashed planets together, destroying them. Now, the Avengers and their secret group, the Illuminati, were looking for ways to prevent this from happening. And the overall plot turned out to be they couldn't. There was no answer. So at the ending of the Deadpool storyline that was going on at the time, another video we have here on the channel and one of our biggest ones, Deadpool ends up getting everything he wanted. He got his ending. It was a happy ending. Does that not sound like the trailer? He got his happy ending, and then he looks up and sees a whole entire planet Earth coming to crush him. And his exact response was, I thought the Avengers took care of that. And boom, Deadpool dies and loses his entire happy ending. How does that apply to this storyline, what they're doing in the trailer? Well, I feel like we're opening up with that very thing. When we got to the end of Loki, we seemingly fixed the multiverse problem. Loki is now the god of stories. I believe is the god of stories is his actual title. Either way, it doesn't really matter overall. He's the god of the multiverse, is what it boils down to. Loki is able to see what is going on, and he's able to kind of correct things or let things exist and be their own thing. That seems counterintuitive to what we see is going on in the trailer, or counterpoint to what we see in the actually going on in the trailer. You see, Deadpool has the happy ending, even if Vanessa is looking at him weird because, in Sal's opinion, they maybe lost the baby. The TVA comes to the door. They go banging at the door and they drag Deadpool out. Why is the TVA doing anything? What is going on? I'm going to get to that because there's more to my theory now that we have this. The TVA drags Deadpool outside and they decide that he's going on his next adventure. That feels very Deadpool in the comics, sad clown ending. Okay, he got what he wanted, but the TVA is now going to pull him out to prune the other universes, to get rid of the pruned enemies in what appears to be the Void, with Goliath and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. What I'm assuming is the plot they're going to give him is if he goes out there and prunes and kills the Fox universe, he can be the last survivor with his family and they'll bring him over to the Marvel universe. My assumption is the overall plot's going to be that. Hey, the Fox universe is going away because they made the joke about your franchise or your MCU Jesus or Marvel Jesus and things like that, meaning that they're straight up acknowledging the existence of Marvel, the cinematic universe, and all of these kinds of things. So I believe they're going to use that fourth wall breaking element of Deadpool and they're going to go, hey, if you come with us and you help destroy everything because you can regenerate, we'll let you live in the Marvel universe. Now, my theory is this is going to lead into what I thought was going on. Deadpool kills the Marvel universe. But in this case, Deadpool kills the Fox universe. We've seen elements such as Pyro or Patch. If you don't know who Patch is, it's an alias that Wolverine uses typically when he goes to Madripoor. So I feel like that's going to be the core of our movie. But I feel like Deadpool's going to be unable to kill Wolverine. I feel like he's going to find Wolverine in one of the timelines or a pruned Wolverine. And because of their friendship, he's going to be like, hey, you can also regenerate. Why don't you come with me? Which is then going to lead to the battle against the TVA. And it's going to lead to Wolverine and Deadpool being at the Void at the end. Because I feel like they both get pruned at some point. Now, it's either going to be Deadpool decides to team up with Wolverine because he wants Wolverine to join him, or we're going to find out about another big villain. One thing that's not in the trailer, the true end villain of this whole thing. Now, I don't want to take credit for this because Dan's the one that brought it up. Dan's one of our editors / producers / helps me film he's kind of a jack of all trades here at the channel. And he said there's a bald person in the trailer. What if that's Cassandra Nova? Now, for the uninitiated in the world of X-Men, who the hell is Cassandra Nova? Let me give you the really short version because Cassandra Nova is confusing. Basically, Cassandra Nova is the twin sister of Xavier. Not actually the twin sister. She created a body for herself to exist in, which was made out of the genes of Xavier. That's the short version. So imagine if I was trying to do the very long version of who this is. But the idea is that Cassandra Nova is the exact opposite of Xavier, but the same power set, which includes the ability to push people into doing things. Now, the characters of Wolverine and Deadpool are immune to mind control abilities. Typically, this is played off in the comics because of their ability to regenerate. They can just kind of heal through whatever mind control actually gets on their ability. Now, before you Marvel fanboys go crazy in the comments, yes, they both have been brain controlled or mind controlled at some point. The general idea is that they're super highly resistant. If you get a powerful enough telepath, they can break through it. Or if you do things like what recently happened with Wolverine, where you regrow him but don't regrow his brain properly, then he can be mind controlled. There's ways to do it, but for the sake of this trailer and my theory, they're resistant to mind control. I think because of that, Cassandra Nova is going to be controlling the TVA, having them go prune things that Cassandra Nova doesn't want to exist. What could Cassandra Nova not want to exist? The entire X-Men that could stop her from controlling the MCU. Who stops her in the comics? The X-Men. What if she gets Deadpool or Wolverine, or just Deadpool for the sake of the story, to go in, kill the X-Men so that nobody can stop Cassandra Nova in the MCU? That's her plan. The MCU doesn't have very powerful telepaths. Do we have any right now? I don't think we have any. I think the closest thing we have is Scarlet Witch. So if there's no one to stop her, she can control another universe, which means I think she's controlling the TVA to trick Deadpool into going into the Fox universe to get him to kill the Marvel universe or the Foxverse, which is what my original idea was. And it's going to boil down to they also want to prune Deadpool, or with Wolverine, he figures out what's going on and begins to fight against the TVA. The trailer shows him fighting the TVA and stuff like that. So he doesn't stay with them the whole time. And we also have the scenes where he seemingly is getting his butt kicked by Wolverine at the very ending with the reveal of Wolverine in the trailer. I don't think they're actually fighting because he says, "Can you help me up?" And then he says, "Never mind," when the claws pop. I have a feeling that's just going to be an epic scene where Wolverine grabs him with the claws and throws them over at the enemies. And that's just them teaming up. So that's what my current theory is. That's the elaborated version of my theory now that the trailer's out. But I want it noted, it's still my original theory that he's going into the Fox universe to kill everyone. Man, I'm getting good at this. So you can't have a trailer like Deadpool 3 drop with all of these Easter eggs and fun stuff going on without the internet also picking apart. So I thought it would be fun to do in this video, see some of the popular theories and prevalent ideas going on the internet right now, and just kind of throw my take if I believe that could be true or not. I also then posted up a community post over on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Comicstorian. If you somehow are watching this and didn't know what I am, where I asked your guys' opinions and theories of the trailer to see what you think. I normally do this on our Twitter account, Comicstorian, but I thought I would do it, throw a bone to the YouTube community members, just to see what you guys think. So first off, the big theory is, yes, Cassandra Nova has been going all over the internet. Dan's the one that told it to me, but a lot of people seem to think the bald person is Cassandra Nova, and that does kind of line up with a lot of the plots. People have been talking about the idea. I did see a Reddit post that suggested that Deadpool's going to be going through the MCU movies using Cassandra Nova. This was the theory. Deadpool was going to be going through the MCU movies and altering things in the proper MCU, including Captain America, Hulk, and Thor. I do not think that that theory is true because I'm pretty sure at some point we would have seen the leaks that Captain America, Hulk, and Thor were on the set. Like, I don't think we're going to touch anything in the MCU for the most part. I think it's going to get referenced. I think it's going to get brought up, but I don't think we're going to have almost any of the actors. The only one I think might show up is Doctor Strange. And only because he's heavily involved in the multiverse jazz. And if he does show up, I feel like it will be at the very ending as the post-credit scene where he shows up. And he might be revealed to be Paradox, but there are two Paradoxes in the Marvel universe, one of which is Doctor Strange in an alternate take, and then another one is a character that exists and already does. So could go both ways with that one. But I don't think we're going to be messing with the true MCU in any large capacity. Another one that I've seen, which I find a little funny, is that Doctor Doom is standing on the car. There's a guy in a green cape, a mask, a green hood, and everyone's like, "That's Doctor Doom!" I don't think it is. I think Marvel knew what they were doing when they put this guy in the costume. I think, if anything, it's a Doom bot to imply Doctor Doom. But I do not think that the big reveal of Doctor Doom is going to be some crazy guy in the void standing on the top of a car in a half-assed Doctor Doom costume. It might be a Doom bot, and he might not even say that. Maybe it'll imply it very heavily or something like that, just to kind of be like, Doom exists and this is funny. I don't think it's going to be the actual Doctor Doom. Another fun theory that I've seen is that the character of Patch, which if you're going through the trailer, is the scene in which he's walking through what appears to be a gambling hall, and there's a man in a white coat with the obvious Wolverine hair, is going to be Daniel Radcliffe. That would be epic, but I don't think we're going to do it. After the backlash they got from the John Krasinski situation, which now we've got casted as Pedro Pascal, in which they took the fan casting and put it as a fun Easter egg in a movie, and now they cast their real Fantastic Four character, which is Pedro Pascal is going to be Mr. Fantastic. And for the record, I think that casting can work. People are arguing that he doesn't look the part, but I'm like, that's what acting is. That's how acting works. The counterpoint was these actors can't do other roles. And I'm like, acting. This is how acting works. But anyway, They got a lot of backlash for not just going forward with John Krasinski, acting like John Krasinski was fighting for the role or something like that. So I don't think the fan casting of Daniel Radcliffe is going to show up as an Easter egg to avoid the same backlash. But I could be wrong. They may not have learned their lesson on that one. So those are the big prevalent theories that I've seen online as to what is going on. So let's look at the community post over here and see what you guys thought is about this trailer and what you thought is going to be happening in it. At Wheeze and 4LW, why that's a weird name, man. He wrote, Deadpool is sent to the void, which has changed landscapes from snowy to sandy since the finale of Loki season 2, after either refusing the terms of or failing the TVA, which is either new or has different branches, pun intended, or it is altogether different. Once in the void, he runs into several characters, including Sabretooth, Toad, Pyro, eventually Wolverine. However, the TVA realizes that Wade is trying to put together a high potential team, so they're going to go after him in the void. After a close encounter with Goliath and a strange, ominous figure by the name of Cassandra Nova Xavier, Wade and Wolverine escape through the Tempad portal. Little do they know, so does Cassandra, who has a bone to pick with them, and what follows is a mega fun road trip across the multiverse. The reveal of Cassandra's origin will be hilarious. So this person's theory is that everything we've seen is just the intro to the movie. I love that, because that'd be the most Deadpool thing ever to give us a trailer of the first 5 minutes. What you guys can't say is that the exact line Dan just told me in my ear right there. But anyway, I actually do really like that idea because it doesn't actually spoil the movie. My concern is that the next 9 trailers Disney's going to put out is going to spoil the entirety of the movie and reveal the big baddie and do everything. If this was the only trailer, I'm on board. This would be incredible. But look what they did with, well, I mean, they weren't in charge of the trailers, but I'm still going to go ahead and counter for that. Look what they did to the Spider-Man No Way Home situation, where by the time the movie came out, we just knew everything. Okay, this one's not a theory, but I love this comment. Blue Beetle, 1939 states, it'd be funny if they marketed this like the Twilight movies, Team Wade, Team Logan. So what would you pick? Would you be Team Wade or Team Logan if we're going to go that route? Because I would buy both shirts and wear them indiscriminately. Lego Lad 7477 says that in the trailer, the Uzis are held in a different position than normal Deadpool, which is seen by the gloves. I think this will be the X-Men Origins Wolverine Deadpool in the Ultimate Series costume. I've actually seen comments on this, and I forgot to mention it in the large scope of things. The current theory is that that is Lady Deadpool. We already know that Dogpool, Kidpool, Headpool are in the movie. That would only leave Lady Deadpool as the last remaining member of the Deadpool Corps. If you don't know who the Deadpool Corps are, the Deadpool Corps is basically a multiversal team of Deadpools, which is one is a dog, one's a kid, one's a head, and one's Lady Deadpool. Lady Deadpool wears the traditional Deadpool outfit, just has boobs. That's the only way you can tell the difference. Sometimes her hair is out, sometimes it's not. So, and those characters end up going through the multiverse in a storyline in which they're killing other Deadpools in a giant Deadpool war against a Deadpool that went evil. That's a different storyline, but it's because it's a little more history for you. We had Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. That did super well. Then we had Deadpool Killustrated, which was Deadpool going through actual novels and historical text and things like that to kill the origins of superheroes before they even became heroes. Basically, the meta context idea that, like, okay, this superhero is based on the very idea of Moby Dick and things like that. So he was going through and killing off classic stories. That Deadpool basically became evil because he was doing those things. So in Deadpool Kills Deadpool, the good timeline Deadpool assimilated or like put together the Deadpool Corps to go kill evil Deadpool. And then there was like 2 Deadpool armies fighting each other. Really got a little weird, but that's where the Lady Deadpool idea comes in. This one's pretty simple. Ethan Ailman says Deadpool and Wolverine will team up to fight against Professor X's evil twin sister. Yeah, that's what I'm adding into my theory. Kin Tinson says it's basically Loki season 3. For those who didn't watch Loki, they're going to be lost. I don't think so. I think Marvel may have learned its lesson of not incorporating the TV shows. This is actually proven to me by Captain America Brave New World, which apparently is going to feature the Red Hulk. That's another rumor going around based on a logo that leaked, but that's a thing for the podcast channel. Absolutely. They're basically seemingly ignoring the Falcon accepts being Captain America TV show. They seem to be doing this idea where they're like, okay, well, if you haven't seen Falcon since he was Falcon, then we're just going to kind of do the story again, but very small and minute. That seems to be what the leaks are stating, that they're going to be ignoring the show. So if they're doing that for a character who literally had his growth in a TV show, they're definitely going to be ignoring Loki season 1 and 2 outside of maybe a fun reference or a joke. it's going to be interesting to see what the MCU does because they're really cutting back on the shows and they're not referencing them. So the TARDIS states that they think it's going to reveal the Wolverine actor for the MCU and possibly hint at if the X-Men already exist in the MCU. I do agree with that. He says it also believes it'll be Deadpool kills the Marvel Fox universe, he'll kill the X-Men, Daredevil, Ben Affleck, and the Fantastic Four. I don't think Ben Affleck's going to show up to get killed. It would be hilarious. Same thing with the Fantastic Four or the Fan Four Stick cast. That would be hilarious. I don't think they're going to do that. But I do like the idea that they're going to reveal the Wolverine in the Marvel universe at the end of this. And I do feel like because Fantastic Four we're going to announce as being a movie set in the 1960s. I think the way that they're going to incorporate them into the Marvel universe and basically be like, oh, this is why you didn't know about us, is they're going to do their entire adventure in the 1960s and then due to time travel shenanigans end up in current MCU. So they were missing for the 50 years. That's what I think is going to happen with Fantastic Four. This could be how they're going to do it with the mutants in the MCU. Due to the pruning and nonsense and blah, 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 this is how they're being introduced into the MCU, or he merged the universes. So now there's an entire history we don't know about involving Xavier and Wolverine and all these characters. If they reveal the MCU's Wolverine at the end of this, I think they'll also reveal the Xavier for the end of this. So that I'm reaching on those theories, but if they do it, I think they'll do both. I think it'll be like, Wade, we knew what you were doing. We're here. We're going to figure it out. Join the X-Men. And then shenanigans. Linshow says, my theory is that since we kind of see the Void, and the only Void we know about is with Alioth, and it is the one from Loki, we're going to see Ravonna, who is stuck there and has been for who knows how long, and might be the reason that he goes with a specific Void to kill or wrap up her storyline with Kang. I don't think Deadpool's going to be wrapping up any plot points from Loki. I just said why. I don't think they're going to be incorporating the story. I think we're going to get a brief mention in passing, and that's the end of that. Just like in Captain America, I think they're going to be like, here's my new Captain America outfit, and I'm Captain America. Man, that adventure with Bucky was fun. Anyway, new movie. I think that's what they're going to do. BDDBNBD3376. A lot of letters in there. Actually, not that many. It's funnier to do it this way. I wanted Deadpool and Spidey, not Deadpool and Wolfie. It's funny that you wrote Wolfie instead of Wolvie. That's typically how they say it when they're going to do that. Wolfie just kind of makes me think of an entirely different adventure involving Werewolf by Night and Deadpool, and also would be hilarious. But I agree. Deadpool and Spidey, I think, would be a better choice. But Deadpool and Wolverine is also a classic choice. So I don't think we're getting the short end of the stick on this. If this does well, maybe Marvel will start doing these team-up movies that we've really wanted, because Thor Ragnarok did super well. So why not make Deadpool and Spider-Man? You know, I liked Captain America and Winter Soldier. Make more team-up movies. Apparently, rumor has it the Hulk will be in an entire series of team-up movies to avoid paying Universal. So that'll be cool. Anyway, and then we got Nirvana 6890. Dude's so lazy, he's asking his followers to give him theories to make his video. Yes, it's called padding. You should try it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll be posting up as I usually do when it comes to these videos. I normally post it on Twitter, or I post it on the community tab so you guys can participate and we can incorporate your ideas and what you think. And basically, I can also have the argument with a forum before I make the video, so that way I can sort out ideas that I had wrong. You guys have always helped me make those videos, and I appreciate it. And it's because we have an awesome community like you guys that we're able to do videos like this. So thank you so much. Let me know your theories down below in the comments. Maybe we'll make a follow-up to this, depending on how well this video does. And if we get enough theories down there, we could make a whole nother video. Or it might be a comics experiment. If you're wondering where that podcast went, right now it's a Patreon exclusive and a YouTube members exclusive. 1 month after we launch the video over there, it comes out on our podcast channel, absolutely, where we do podcasting on a weekly basis. So if you want to check out Rants and Raves with Buddies, check out that channel over there. And don't forget, I launched a brand new channel where I just talked to the camera called Benny Has a Problem. I'll link it down below as well. Either way, thank you guys so much for your continued support. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next Comicstorian video right here. Oh, and don't worry, comic videos are still coming out. I know the last week has been crazy without comic videos. They're coming out, and we also have a whole other channel called Comicstorian Full Story. I also call it Classic Comicstorian before I decided to do a bunch of crazy, stupid shit. Anyway, go check out that. And don't worry, I got more video. We got Green Arrow coming out. We got Wonder Woman coming out. 3 people just got really excited. And for the rest of you, Spider-Man and Batman are also still coming out. All right.